Hey, have you ever wondered what the Vatican is really hiding? They say that behind its walls are secrets so big they could make Hollywood movies. In this video, you'll learn about the mysteries that could change our understanding of the universe, including mysterious evidence of aliens. And that's the iceberg tip. So, what's really hidden behind the centuries of secret archives? Let's go. Let's figure it. Religious artifacts. It's only natural to assume that the Vatican holds various religious relics. This is the main stronghold of the Christian world, one of the oldest organizations still around today. So it's no surprise that there are talks about the most significant items for believers possibly being in the Vatican. Among these items are mentioned the cross on which Jesus Christ was crucified, the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, and even remnants of Noah's Ark. Rumors claim that many key Christian relics are hidden in the vaults of the Vatican archives. However, there is an opinion that lesser known, but very unusual religious artifacts are also stored there. Some of these objects are so exotic that most people have probably never heard of them. Among these unusual finds are said to be the foreskin of Jesus, the incorrupt body of Christ, or the crown of thorns that he wore before the crucifixion. The bones of St. Peter. In 1939, 9 fragments of human bones were discovered beneath St. Peter's Basilica, which is the main church of the Vatican. Interestingly, they were found in a regular shoebox. In 2013, Pope Francois displayed the remains at a Sunday Mass, after which they disappeared from public view again. Since then, the bones have not been shown to people. Despite the Vatican's claim that these are the remains of the Apostle Peter, scientists and skeptics have expressed doubts about the authenticity of the find. Instead of allowing scientists access to the bones for research, the Vatican chose to close them to the public. The official version is that this is due to an ancient curse that will allegedly befall anyone who disturbs the peace of St. Peter's tomb. However, skeptics believe that this is just an excuse. What do you think about that? Evidence of existence, or the non-existence of Jesus. According to rumors, deep within the secret archives of the Vatican, there may be documents that could shed light on the existence or non-existence of Jesus Christ. It's claimed that among these documents there might be a record of a conversation between the Roman Emperor Nero and one of Paul's disciples, the content of which, if deciphered, could radically change our understanding of history. This conversation could finally confirm the historical existence of Jesus, or, on the contrary, call into question everything that is known about him, revealing his image as fiction. Both scenarios could turn our understanding of human history upside down. If the Vatican had evidence disproving the existence of Jesus, they're hiding it. If they have proof of Jesus, why keep it secret? In strict secrecy. However, if they have proof of Jesus' reality, the reasons for keeping such information secret remain unclear. In any case, it is believed that such revolutionary evidence is kept in the secret archives of the Vatican. For now, this information remains unavailable. The ultimate truth will remain unknown. Genealogy of Jesus. The idea that Jesus was married and had children. Popularized by Dan Bruno, and it turns out that it has some basis. Almost nothing is known about Christ's life between childhood and adulthood. He might have started a family. Researchers suggest his lineage details are in Vatican archives. It is possible that during this period of time he started a family, which raises questions about his family tree. Some researchers suggest that details of his genealogy may be hidden in the Vatican archives. If someone living today turned out to be a direct descendant of Jesus Christ and, by extension, God, it would have colossal consequences for the Church. At the very least, the role of the Pope would lose its significance. This hypothesis seems convincing, but the reality is much more complicated. Even if the Vatican has information about the first descendants of Christ, their numbers would have multiplied many times over in 2,000 years, making it impossible to accurately trace all branches of the family tree down to our days. Gospel of Peace. In 1923, academic and Bishop Edmund Bordeaux Saccoli was fortunate enough to discover an ancient Aramaic manuscript in the closed archives of the Vatican. He claimed that it contains the teachings of the Essenes, a Jewish mystical sect that lived a secluded lifestyle, isolated from the rest of society. References to the Essenes can be found in several ancient authors, such as Philo of Alexandria, Pliny the Elder, and Josephus. And they were known for their communist principles. However, an interesting fact is that the New Testament doesn't mention the Essenes at all, which has led to the suggestion that they might have been behind the creation of the New Testament texts, and that Jesus himself could have been one of the members of this sect. There are indeed many similarities between the Essenes and early Christians, including the importance of rituals, baptism, and prophecies, and also an emphasis on mercy and good deeds. The Essenes rejected Old Testament human sacrifices, instead offering vegetables. They rejected human sacrifices in the Old Testament, using vegetables as sacrifices. This aspect attracted particular attention from the Sikhil, who claimed that the Essenes adhered to a vegetarian diet at the behest of Christ himself. Manuscript unseen, Sikhil's viewing doubted, no records. Moreover, some doubt that Sikhil himself saw her, because there is no record of his visiting the archive. Considering that the scholar was an active proponent of vegetarianism, many believe he was trying to back up his beliefs with references to divine origins. The Great Grimoire of Le Dragon Rouge, one of the rare items on this list, has its existence confirmed, although the authorship and exact date of creation remain a mystery. Legend has it that it may have been found in King Solomon's tomb around 1750. But it's possible that the book appeared much later. According to legend, the grimoire contains rituals for summoning the Lucifuge Raphael, one of the main demons of hell, as well as other entities from the other world. It is said that anyone who dares to perform this ritual must sacrifice their soul. The 19th century occultist, Arthur Edward Waite, described the rite as suitable only for a madman and a madwoman, or a criminal who can't grasp the full danger of their actions. Grimoires have existed for centuries. Le Dragon Rouge, the French version, reached the Caribbean and is still used today, like the Great Grimoire, which is considered the most dangerous of its kind. The French version of the book, known as Le Dragon Rouge, made its way to the Caribbean, where it is said to still be in use today. The Secrets of Fatima. In 1917, in a small Portuguese village called Fatima, 3 shepherd children experienced a series of visions of the Virgin Mary. These visions, known as the Mysteries of Fatima, shook the world, generating a wave of both faith and skepticism. That still resonates to this day. The first 2 secrets, concerning the vision of hell and the threat of the spread of communism, were made public in 1941. They predicted wars, famine, and persecution. If the Virgin Mary's calls remain unheeded, however, the third secret, written down by Lucia and sealed in an envelope, is still surrounded by a veil. Secrets, giving rise to endless debates and interpretations. The Bishop of Leiria handed this envelope over to the Vatican secret archives. For a long time, it remained undisclosed. Pope John XXI, upon receiving the envelope in 1959, decided not to open it. A similar fate befell the secret during Pope Paul VI's time. It wasn't until 1965 that someone from the Vatican, whose identity is still kept secret, got to see the contents. Pope Paul VI also refused to publish it. Situation changed after attack on Pope John Paul II in 1981. In 1981 in Kiev. Year. According to a popular version, he read the third secret and on the same day consecrated the world to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, which many interpreted as a patriotic act. As confirmation of the seriousness of the prophecy and its connection to the assassination attempt, the official version of the third secret, released by John Paul II in 2000, describes a vision of a bishop dressed in white, walking towards an altar where he is attacked and killed. Many link this to the assassination attempt on the Pope himself. However, this version raised even more questions than it answered. Many researchers and believers are convinced that the published text is just a part or a heavily edited interpretation of the original prophecy. Regardless of whether the published text is complete and accurate, the secret itself continues to stir people's minds, reminding us of the elusiveness of the future and the power of faith, which can both comfort and frighten. Perhaps it's the truth. The third secret of Fatima will forever remain shrouded in mystery, fueling endless discussions and the search for answers to humanity's eternal questions. The picture of the real Jesus. Unlike what they teach in Sunday school, Jesus was a Jew who lived in the hilly regions of northern Israel. Therefore, he most likely looked more like a Middle Easterner, rather than the images that are common in popular culture. Nevertheless, some believe that the Vatican has at least one accurate depiction of Jesus' appearance. If this is true, such an image would become. It would be undeniable evidence of Jesus' existence just a few years after his death, and it would also provide a unique opportunity to see the appearance of one of the key historical figures of antiquity. Is this true? And why does the Vatican keep such sensational information in secret? Remains a subject of debate and speculation. Chronovisor. The chronovisor, Father Bruno in The New Vatican Secret, is a device supposedly created and owned by the Vatican. Rumors say this device was constructed in the 1950s by the world's top scientists with financial backing from the Vatican. Built in the 1950s, the device was like glasses. Years, by the best scientists in the world, with financial support from the Vatican. The chronovisor was supposed to be used like a kind of glasses worn on the face. The device is said to be capable of reproducing events from the past by processing electromagnetic radiation and converting it into visual images and sounds. Father Bruno claimed that he personally witnessed events through the chronovisor. Historical moments like the crucifixion of Christ and the presentation of the lost play, Fiesta. The device was reportedly dismantled shortly after its creation, as the church hierarchy was wary that such a powerful technology could end up in the hands of one person or a small group. If the chronovisor really existed, all information about it is likely kept under tight security in the Vatican's secret archives. The smoke of Satan God's temple. Gabriel Amorth, devoted to exorcism, adhered to the Pope Paul V ritual, dedicated his life to casting out demons. Having performed tens of thousands of exorcisms following the ritual approved by Pope Paul V in 1614, he gained invaluable experience that allowed him to discern manifestations of evil. In 1614, he had invaluable experience that enabled him to discern the manifestations of evil. Amorth claimed that he saw before him a pure spirit capable of taking on various forms, from a raging beast to a human form, thus confirming many descriptions from medieval grimoires and classical literature on exorcism. But the most shocking statement from Father Amorth was his claim in 2010 about the presence of Satan within the Vatican. According to Amorth, scandals in the Catholic Church were not coincidences, but the result of devilish interference. Vatican officials either confirm nor deny his claims. The last few decades were not a coincidence, but rather the result of active devilish interference. Vatican officials do not address claims of Satan's involvement. Amorth's statements, backed by his exorcism experience, highlight the situation's complexity. However, Amorth's statements, backed up by his many years of experience and authority in the field of exorcism, make one think about the complexity, the problems the Catholic Church faces, and the possibility of influences that go beyond ordinary human understanding. Documents denying the crucifixion of Christ. Imagine how our world would change. What if it turned out that the key aspects of the Christian faith, which we have believed for centuries, were actually distorted? New Zealand writer Michael Bygent proposed the idea that the life of Jesus Christ could have unfolded in a completely different way than is believed. According to his version, the Messiah continued to live long after his so-called death in 33 AD. Bygent suggests Jesus avoided execution by negotiating with Pilate. The crucifixion was the best way to implement this plan. It was vital for Rome that Christ could convince his many followers to pay taxes. The crucifixion turned out to be the best way to carry out this plan. The writer admits that he has no direct evidence to support this version, but he is confident that such evidence must exist in the Vatican. Vigent believes that the French priest Bérenger Saunière discovered a document in the church of Rennes-le-Château that contained truthful information about those events. It's likely that the Vatican bought this valuable document from Saunière, offering him a huge sum of money in exchange for his silence. The Edessin Mondlian, and this artifact is completely real. It really exists, even though it has a mystical origin. The Edessin Mondlian, according to legend, is the cloth that Jesus used to wipe his face. There are several versions of this story. One of them tells the story of the leprous king Abgarvi. The king of Edessa sent Ananias to Christ for healing. If Christ couldn't return, the king asked for an image. Ananias met Jesus and asked him to return. If Ananias couldn't bring Christ back with him, the king asked him to at least bring back an image of the Savior. When Ananias met Jesus, he asked him to return with him. But he was refused. Instead, Jesus gave Ananias the cloth that he used to wipe his face. The cloth bears the imprint of Christ's face. When Ananias returned and handed the cloth to the king, he was miraculously healed. Today, the Edessin Mondlian, similar to the Shroud of Turin, is kept in the Matilda Chapel in the Vatican Palace. The Vatican's reputation as a place that holds sacred texts and controversial relics. It continues to be a source of fascination and doubt, attracting both scientists and skeptics. Seeking to uncover the truth or dispel the established beliefs associated with this revered place. Whose side will you take? And while you think about it, friends, I want to make you an interesting offer. You have a unique opportunity to become part of our team. If you have video editing skills, you can voice over videos in Russian, English, and other languages. Or write interesting scripts. We would be happy to work with you. Message our Telegram bot. The link is in the description. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.